Let's look at an example from the phone industry. And this is going to be maybe a little prehistory for some of you. But if you think about the initial cell phone that came out, there was a guy named Dr. Martin Cooper at Motorola who invented the first cell phone. I can remember when this thing came out. It was like 1989. And it was very expensive. It was like $2,500 to $3,000. I happened to be a sales rep at Oracle in Denver, Colorado at the time. And I looked at that and I thought, wow, if I had that, man, I would have this huge competitive advantage over all my competitors and everybody because I could stay in great touch with my customers. But for me, I missed the part about having the huge income. I was just starting sales rep. And so for me, the thought of spending $3,000 with 2 young children, and all that is like, no way. But for a sales vice president in our company, guess what? They were the first ones to do it. And now they could contact us or we could contact them whenever we wanted to. And they got competitive advantage by doing that. Now eventually, when the market crossed the chasm, it actually took 2 forms. So there was this big unit, and the big thing about this one is it had 3 watts of power. So if you're driving down the freeway, you're not going to get cut off every 30 seconds because you're able to get better connections. On the other hand, it was really cumbersome. You could actually plug this in your cigarette lighter, or you could strap it around your shoulder and carry it, which kind of looks a little weird, but you had lots of power. This was actually targeted to one specific group. There's another group another version of this that, well, it wasn't near as powerful. And especially there was all these rumors that if you have it close to your face, it's going to cause cancer. So they made this much less powerful, much less battery life. It had like a 1 or 2 hour standby time and like a 30-minute talk time, if you can imagine. But this was great for other groups. So when I was selling at Oracle, and one of my compadres was selling the Oracle Relational Database, which was huge at the time, and they had small territories, lots of sales reps, small territories. He had this in his car. And I remember I'd drive around with him, man, it was so cool because he could use this thing. My territory was 5 states, and I spent most of my time on an airplane. Am I going to take this thing on an airplane? No, but this guy here, that's really cool. So I could take this with me and stay in touch with everybody in the car. So so this was targeted for people that needed to be more mobile, less reliance on the power. This one's really targeted at those who wanted to maintain good connections while they're in the car and last a long time. So cell phones crossed the chasm in one of these 2 manifestations. Now, eventually, and I can remember going to, as you can tell, I shop at Costco a lot, but I can remember going into Costco one day, and as you walk in the front door, there was an exhibit with blue boxes, and it was, get your Nokia phone. I was like, what? And walk in the front door, and there is this 61, how many of you had ever had one of these? Okay? So that was the Gorilla. It was the de facto standard. You could have it in any color you wanted as long as it was black. You talk about fulfilling demand. All they had to do was get these things in the channels in the store, and they flew off the shelves. Now, as Michael mentioned earlier, Nokia had way back here on the left end of the life cycle, they had the communicator, and they never were able to take that across the chasm. But Nokia was the market leader when all we needed was just a great connection. And they became this dominant player. However, and then later, we started seeing kind of variations on the thing. So, and I'm still talking about cell phones, I'm not talking about smartphones. We saw a camera phone. Oh, it has a built-in camera. That's pretty cool. Or, oh, a phone with built-in music. That's kind of cool. Or what if I just want to prepay my phone so that I can give it to my kids and they're limited to how much they can use? Or I'm a criminal that don't want my phone tracked. And then ultimately, we started seeing this category go through a new renewal. And it started with versions of PDAs and then eventually smartphones. So it evolved. Nokia was the leader in one category, but as the market moved to smartphones, they basically lost their way. And so the lesson of this is leaders in one paradigm typically are not leaders in another paradigm. We've often seen that. You think about HR systems. There was, even before PeopleSoft, there were mainframe human resource systems by a company called MSA. As the market moved to client server, it gets into a company called PeopleSoft. And now as the paradigm moves into the cloud, we now have Workday. So there's a big change in how you go to market and what your strategy is.